Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I'm going to be painting. I have my water cup, I have my palette, I have my paints. Okay. It's hard to squish it all on screen so you can see all the things, but we're just gonna do our best here. Okay, I am closing in on this drawing challenge, and part of that is because I did a few pages a couple years ago, and part of that is because this wasn't like a huge, I need some purple here. This wasn't a huge sketchbook that I created to begin with. So there's that. So by the next weekend's video, it'll be a sketchbook tour, which how crazy is that? We are cooking right along. But that brings me to my next situation, which is what am I drawing and doing for March? And I don't know. I really wanted to do my Midori for March. I'm gonna do some flowers. I'm gonna do Helibros, and that's like a six petal flower. Oh yeah, that's a really nice color. So, but I am not doing the middle section because there's a huge middle thing and I need the petals to dry before I do the middle section. Otherwise there's going to be bleeding. I'm going to be bleeding in that area and I don't want that. So I'm going to kind of carve out what that's going to look like and get to kind of painting here. Anyway, so March. I've got nothing. Well, again, I'm trying to cycle through all my different supplies and make sure I'm using everything. And so I'm trying to figure out, I really want to use my pastels. So, know thyself. I do not. Thank you. Takes me a long time to come to certain conclusions. 3, 4. Okay, yeah, this will be 6. That's perfect. I had purchased a Richson set of hand-rolled soft pastels because if you've ever seen a photo of them, yeah, they're hard to say no to. They're beautiful, they're vibrant, the marketing team is on point. It is something you can look at online and go, why don't I own that? Well, turns out I probably shouldn't own that because it's essentially for me trying to draw with the equivalent of broken lipsticks because of how they're shaped. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I don't work bigger than A4. I'll throw up what the A sizes are. And because of that, I tend to work smaller. And in doing that, I need more fine detail things. And so they aren't the right supply for me because they're too big and chunky for the size I work. The second problem is I bought the landscape set because Fantasy Kendra was really diluted and thought I needed to do more landscapes, which I'm not wrong. Like, I definitely don't do nearly enough landscapes, but I don't know that that's going to change. So part of the problem is I don't do them, but I have a landscape set. So I have to really be in the mood for something to want to do it every single day for 30 days. I think March is March a 31? It's something big. It's substantial. It's weighty. So to be like, yeah, no, this is the month, this is the time where I'm going to branch out into something I never do with a supply I never use. And then, you know, try and get myself to do that for 30 days. That's rough. That's really, really rough. That would be really, really hard. And I don't know if I have that in me for 30 days. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. Now I have, I swear this is all related. I have these huge, like, graphite blocks, and I've used them before, and how I use them is I wet them with a paintbrush, and then I paint on the pigment from these blocks. I'll show you what they look like. Hold on. all related to the conversation, I swear. So these are the Derwent XL Graphite. Again, this is not a product that is the best use for my stuff. See how huge these are? These are huge sticks, and it's like essentially drawing with sidewalk chalk with how big they are. So if I worked, I don't know, A3, A2, or just huge canvases or huge, oh gosh, 24 by 36 pieces of paper, that'd be fine. So what I've done is I wet a brush and I wipe the brush through here, and then I draw it on with a paintbrush, and I'm able to get really fine-tune details. One of these products are going to last me forever because that's how I use them, but I'm able to work super small with them. So it kind of opens up, like, yes, I bought the wrong product, but I can still kind of make it work for me a little bit. And I'm wondering if that is kind of the solution with the pastels. Should I try and paint those on a little bit and see if that is a better method to my madness, and if that is something that I can make work for me for the size that I create in. The other thing is the Midori paper is super smooth, and I don't own like pastel mat. I don't own paper that is specifically for specific mediums except watercolor paper, because half my media is wet media that I own. So I don't really own pastel mat. That's not like a thing I have. So I'm trying to figure out how to put pastels on this very smooth Midori without it being streaky or stripy. I'm gonna soften all this up, I promise. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out, and I haven't worked it out in my brain yet, and I kind of need to grab my Stillman Burn Epsilon and try some things in that sketchbook and do some tests, because I figured out that I can layer my technical drawing pen, my Rotring Isograph layers just fine over pastels, and I was worried that if I tried to do ink over it, that the ink would gum up and I wouldn't be able to use it very well. So that is a thing that can happen. I can layer ink over the pastels and get more fine-tuned detail that way. It could be mixed media. I haven't done not really an ink challenge so far. This has a little ink in it. It's very mixed media. Anyway, I'm trying all the things here, folks. So we're just gonna let that bleed out a little bit. Helibros. I know. I've never grown one. Oh, I could wax poetic about flowers for days. But yeah, no, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life with March, and I don't know if I want to try like trees and do kind of like soft branches or something. I think that's like a compromise, getting into my comfort zone of wanting to do more botanicals, keeping it relevant and interesting, but not really being comfortable with full-on landscapes. I do like tree things. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to figure it out fairly quickly. I'm gonna have to know by Friday, so that gives me a week to sort of sort my business here and get my mind in the game. Oh, yeah, that doesn't look half bad. Okay. This one's very spotty. Pull that out, even it out a little bit. Anyway. It's gonna be very pretty when he's done. Very, very pretty. Okay. I love flowers. I've never grown Helibros. I have like a thing. So when people say like, what's your favorite flower? To smell, to grow, to gift, to receive. What are we talking about here? We grow a lot of flowers. I kind of wanted to do at one point, I thought it'd be really cool to do like a moon flower garden where you grow nothing but white flowers, and then in the full moon they shine and they sparkle. Doesn't that sound pretty? Sounds pretty to me. Anyway, I kind of wanted to do something like that, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Planting things. We're gonna be doing some fruit fruit planting, I think, first in March. We have a lot of planting. Our goals have goals. So it's gonna be kind of crazy. And I'm looking forward to it. Lots of gardening. March is hard because it's cold and it's wet. But, or I'm sorry, February. It's cold and wet, but March is a little warmer. I think the last frost is finally passed. Okay. Anyway, it's a March challenge. It's going to be a challenge. I don't know. And since that Midori has like 44 pages, and then if I do the end papers and the front cover, we're looking at more than that, which means I need at least 50 ideas. That way, when I get into the thick of it, if some of the ideas aren't working for me, or they're not inspiring me, or I'm not interested, I have something else I can fall back on. So I need a huge stack of ideas that I don't currently have. So I have some stuff to do. I have some things to think about here. Yeah. I gave this one too many petals, I think. That's okay. That's all right. Let's give this a little bit of green. They come in such pretty colors. There's like a black one. I don't know how you feel about black flowers, but black flowers are so pretty. We grow some indoors. And then there's some that are like so dark red that they almost look black. And those kind of speak to me a little bit. Anyway, yeah. It's going by quick because once March hits, we're a fourth of the way into the year. So we're not slowing down at this point. We're picking up speed. And it's just going to get busier and busier. We have a lot of birthdays in March. We got a lot of stuff going on in March. So it's just going to be quick. Which means I need my master plans and I need tons and tons of notes. I need more notes than I think I need. That way, if I start to get blocked or I start to feel a little overwhelmed, I have tons of fallback ideas that can inspire and motivate me. So I need to make a huge laundry list of, if this is my challenge, then these are all the things I am contemplating drawing and creating. So I am familiar with the Midori paper. I've drawn on it before. I am familiar with my pastels. I'm familiar with pen and ink. So it's not, the medium and the surface is not the challenge. The challenge for the March is going to be the subject matter. And that's something I really need to sit on and figure out what's speaking to me and what I can maintain with interest in creating for the whole month. Because I don't want to burn out, because there's still the rest of the year to go. So it's going to be a trick and a quarter to kind of keep going and keep creating and keep doing my thing here. Such a unique, pretty flower. My favorite flower to smell is probably magnolia and lilac. I really, really, really love the smell of lilac. I wish that they bloomed more. I wish that the blooms last longer. My favorite flower to gift other people are sunflower titans, and I will start them at seed in May, and then by April I can give one to somebody in a little sort of decomposing pot they can stick straight in the ground, and then they can have a huge 10-foot tall flower. It's a really fun flower to gift people. My favorite flower to receive, I like irises. I like birds of paradise. I like wildflowers. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really a rose carnation person, so those are never really my go-tos for things. You can kind of see these flowers taking shape. There's so many flowers in the world, and it's just fascinating the ones that people enjoy. So if you want to put in the comment section your favorite flower, I would love, love, love to know. Yeah, I would love to know, because it's so fascinating. My son loves lavender. That's his favorite. For the smell, he thinks it looks really cool. He likes how many bees are attracted to it. I don't know, just everybody has their own sort of favorite thing. My youngest daughter, anything that's purple, so she's more for color. Our eldest daughter loves sunflowers. My husband loves blossoming trees. So any tree that has a blossom that bears fruit, so like apple blossoms, orange blossoms, those are his favorite flowers, because he knows what's coming up, which would be the fruit. Yeah. Of course, any flower you grow becomes special because you've grown it yourself. So there's always sort of that satisfaction mixed in too, which is lovely. You tell I'm ready for planting season. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. We're going to put in an apple tree. We're putting in more blueberries. I think we're going to do sweet potatoes. What else? I'm trying to think what else we have planned that isn't already doing a thing. Regular potatoes. Yep. It's going to be a fun one, folks. I'm excited. So, I'm going to be in the garden a lot. Like a lot. And that's going to be exciting. I need to sort of thin this out. Okay. See, that's still too thick. And with watercolor, it's trial and error. Layering and getting used to the water and getting used to whatever pigment you're using and its opacity. The best way to learn how to watercolor is to just practice every day. It is. It's find a subject matter. You can grab like a cup from your cabinet and start trying to draw that. You can draw one of your pets. You can take a photo from your photo library from your phone and start mixing colors to match sunsets of pictures you've taken. You just have to keep practicing with watercolor. It's one of those things where you can watch all the tutorial videos and read all the tutorials and get all the tips and recommendations. But if you're not putting your paintbrush to a surface, you're not going to improve. So it's the only way I know how to recommend that to folks is, are you practicing? And if people are like, no, I haven't had time, you can't get better unless you do that one portion. So it's a tough one. There are a lot of free tutorial videos on YouTube for watercoloring and understanding like watercolor theory. You don't have to understand watercolor theory to get good at watercolor. You have to practice to get good at watercolor. You don't have to follow any of the instructions of anything anyone tells you. There are some tips and tricks that make things easier, like layering and waiting for things to dry and understanding certain portions. But again, if you're not practicing, there's no way. There's just no way, because it doesn't make sense. So I highly recommend, if watercolor is one of those things you're really interested in, pick up a couple primary color tubes or a set that has primary colors. I started off our kids with the Winsor Newton Cotman. And I can link the video about the Cotman colors. In the set we got like, I don't know, the Pocket Travelers or something. It has a warm and cool red, a warm and cool yellow, a warm and cool blue. So you really start to understand color theory and you can mix a lot of things. And I believe that sets around $20 US, so it's not like breaking the bank in a huge way. You don't want to break the bank because, again, you fall into what happened to me with my pastels. It's fantasy self versus realistic self. Because my fantasy self is all over pastels. My fantasy self, like, loves pastels and uses them all the time, and it has such a romantic connotation when you see them in photographs all laid out in someone's studio next to some beautiful illustration they've created. My realistic self is like, no, they're too big, they're too chunky for what I create, for how I create. Like, everything about them is wrong for me, for my fit. So, and it takes years and years and years to kind of come to terms with, depending on how prolific you create or how self-aware you are, it can take a while to figure out the best supplies for your preferred surface, your preferred size you create, your preferred everything. And that's tough. That's a tough one. Because we all want to assume like we're buying the right exact stuff for us the first time, and it just doesn't work that way. We just don't do it. Because marketing is amazing, and a lot of us shop online and everything is targeted to grab our special attention, and so it does. And then we end up buying something that just doesn't work for us. So yeah, we all fall prey to buying a product that isn't the best fit. No one is immune from that. Even seasoned professionals fall victim to that. And sometimes it's seeing someone else creating with something and you see the ease in which they do a thing, and you're like, oh wow, if I had that thing, I definitely could create more, and it can be easier, and my stuff can look better. It's the practice they pull up when they go to create that makes everything look so much easier and quick and fast. It's not necessarily the product. I mean, some products are thoughtfully curated, so you're getting a really great color mix. We can talk about this real quick. So when we look at these colors, we see a ton of gray. We see like a red, there's a brown, there's a blue, and there's a green. I don't even know what colors they consider these to be. Do they have names? One's very much like a pencil. I'll throw up the colors, but it's a weird mix that doesn't, I think this is Prussian blue. This is a weird lime green, and this is a weird earthy red. So like these work together. It's really hard to use them all together because it's a weird curated mix. And like I look at it and I go, who thought that all those colors would actually work together? Because they really don't. They really, really don't. And I don't even use the one that acts like graphite. I don't really paint on pencil. I thought about it. I thought about it in the future for things like hand cramps and understanding like arthritis and carpal tunnel, because how I hold a paintbrush is way different from how I hold a pencil. So that's always like a fallback idea. Understanding that, you know, if things get too bad with my hands, then I can always paint on pencil, and I can paint on different mediums and still keep creating. But yeah, it's a weird mix. So it's hard to tell, you know, you look at whatever the advertising image is, and this, look at the advertising image. It just shows one color. They drew it monochromatically. They didn't even use all the colors for the picture on the front. So yeah, marketing. And I haven't used this product. I haven't used those graphite sticks in a while either. So that's definitely something on my list that I need to use more of this year. And I need to figure out if I'm doing a drawing challenge with them or what I'm doing. So, fun times. Yeah, Subject matter for March. I don't know. I need to make a list. I need lists. Okay, this purple's feeling pretty dry, so I'm gonna go back and add a bright green to it. Sure am. Okay. Yeah. Some flowers are fun. Some flowers have colors that I can't color match. So if it's day glow or it's neon, I don't have that. I don't have any neon paints. Neon paints aren't light fast. They're a fun thing, and if you have like a digital portfolio or you do digital products or digital pictures, like print reproduction things, having neons can be really fun. But as for gifts or commissions, you would really have to like put disclaimers. Hey, put this in glass, keep it away from the light. Opera pink fades, that's what it's known for. So that's kind of a tough sell. Anyway, you can kind of see them coming together. It's slow. It's slow, but it's such like a meditative, relaxing process. At least I find watercolor meditative. And if you're having trouble controlling the water, just dry your brush more. Less water, more dry brush. And that can help. And then make sure your layers are dry. If you don't want bleeding and blooming and things to expand, make sure everything's dry. You can kind of hover your hand over it. If it feels a little cool, it's still wet. I have a hair dryer for time constraints and weather, because again, it's February. It takes forever to dry. But yeah, I'm very excited. This is going to be a fun page when it's done. I don't watercolor botanicals enough, so I'm glad I'm getting the opportunity to do that this month. It's a great change up for me. All right, this is where I'm at. This is where it's headed. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and next week I will show you the full sketchbook tour. All right, bye.